And so the great simplicity of life is that there is only one answer to every question. Every question has the same answer. It is always to know the true nature. It's to know that there's only one problem. And the only problem is that we have been living in a misunderstanding, that we are divided from God, from the glory. And the great good news, the revelation, is that it is not true, that we have never been divided. We have never been limited. There's never been anything between what we are and what the glory is. And the invitation of a human life is to remember this and to shine as this, to come alive as life itself. We wonder perhaps, how can we live the best life? How can we be in these times that can seem so turbulent in a way on the surface? And of course, all that is being invited in the face of whatever is showing itself on the screen, it's either sharing a reflection of the misunderstanding that we're divided, or we are just living in the frequency of reality. Reality is just here, it's not hiding. We could say heaven is right here, it's not hiding. And this invitation of a life, of a human life, is to remember this and to live this. To be an emissary of this light of love, to bring this knowing of our own heart in the remembrance of the resonance of the one heart, to bring this to the surface of life through living it, through being the living, embodied emanation of the light of our heart's knowing. And so, in a way, life is so simple, right? There's such a simplicity. And yet what makes it complicated is the mind. All of the ideas and concepts and beliefs that we have taken on have created a kind of tangle. And when we are tangled in that complexity, we feel like life is hard, like it's difficult, and that there are so many problems to solve, so many things that are hard. But when we realize that the true power lies in our own knowing of the still, silent presence of being that we are, our own knowing of the divine reality, our own knowing in the heart of the frequency of love, that we have the answer to every possible question. The answer to every possible question is to open to the glory of God, to give it all to God, let God take care of it. And the way that God takes care of it is by us opening to the frequency of the presence that is the wide open field. And the presence of being is the same as the presence of God. It's the presence of the all that is, the all-encompassing one. There's only one source, one field, one glory. And as we come to remember and open in our innermost being to this glory, to this love, to this light, we start to be able to embody this light, bring this light into every single fiber, thread, and dimension of our lived experience, so that we can be the embodiment of life and light and love itself. That we can embody the purity, the divinity, that we are actually here and wired to embody. We're fully wired, we're fully set up. It's like the DNA is already encoded with divinity. It's as if we've been operating with part of our functioning dormant. And as we open to the light as we open to the finer frequencies of our being, it's as if we bring online what has been dormant. We start to activate and initiate the deeper functioning of our consciousness. So we're starting to function more fully. It's like all guns blazing, all engines blazing, right? That we're actually starting to function at a more full capacity. The reason that we can feel in the life that there is something missing is because what's missing is our connection to God, to the glory, to the love that we are. And so, of course, we're going to feel a sense of lack, but it's not me that's lacking. It's not the me that's lacking or has done something wrong. It's that just in that sense of being disconnected, let's say the belief in disconnection, we start to feel that sense of deficiency and lack because we're longing to be operating in the fullness of consciousness, the fullness of what we are. And so reality isn't hiding. It's just about equipping ourselves from the inner dimensional knowing of the heart so that we can see clearly reality, so that we can live in the frequency of openness, of love. And we could even say that there's nothing to be done in order to live this. And in a way, it's about illuminating everything that keeps us from this truth. And to realize that we are the principle of illumination. We are the light. We have the power to illuminate. We have the power to see clearly. And as we have the power to see clearly, we can illuminate the places that feel to be discordant. We can illuminate the places that feel to be stuck and not free. We can illuminate the places that feel stressful and anxious and fearful and doubting. We can illuminate the places that are caught in the web of wrong, making myself wrong, making others wrong. I've done something wrong, right? So in a way, we use the light that we are and the knowing of the heart to keep illuminating all of the threads and fibers of our being that are not functioning on full power. And we start to illuminate. And as we illuminate, we bring all of our functioning to a fullness, to the glory itself. We bring all of our functioning to the resonant remembrance of the one. And so, yes, we move through this unfolding where we are leaving behind our habit to divide and limit, our habit to take things personally, and we're opening to the undivided, unlimited, impersonal. We're opening to the dimensions of our being that are naturally free. And yet what we also come to find is that as we are leaving behind the parts of ourself that feel to be limited and divided, and opening to the undivided wholeness and unlimited, infinite, boundless nature of the being, the one field of being that we are, we're also opening to an all-inclusive, all-encompassing field of love that includes everything. We're not cutting off any parts of ourselves. So we could say that in the glory of this opening, that we realize that we're leaving behind what feels to be personal and opening to the impersonal nature, being the wholeness. And yet we can still have a part of our experience that feels to be personal, unique, individual. But it's in the essence nature that we know that this is not the truth, that division, separation, limitation is not the truth. And this allows us to actually be incredibly free in our lived experience. It allows us to be very free because we're not guarding and we're not constantly in protection and armoring and conditionings. We're free to be free. We're free to be the fullness of what we are. We're free to be the glory of the one self. We're free to be the love that we are and to love unabandoned and wildly. We're free to be the unconditioned flow of life that we are and live wildly and unabandonedly, right? This adventure is about freedom. It's really to be with in your heart. What is freedom, right? Freedom from the mind, freedom from being held captive by the mind and all of its ways of holding us captive, holding us in the limiting ideas, beliefs, and concepts, that we're opening to remember the freedom, like the deepest exhale, the deepest, most profound relaxation and rest is to let go into yourself. And to let go into yourself is to let go into this moment, into the presence of being, to let go into yourself. Let go into just being here, just as you are. That you know this freedom, you know the beauty, you know the glory of your heart's innate essence nature. And at whatever capacity this knowing is already alive, it's to be nourished in the frequency of this knowing and allow the nourishing frequency of the knowing to carry you deeper. Every being is longing to live the best life. Every being is longing to get it right, to do it well. Every being is longing to love and be loved. And yet, until we really know the essence nature and we're resonating at this fine frequency and realizing that life is a vibrational lived experience, and that to live this life in and as reality is to live at the fine frequency of love, of openness, of the being. And it's living at this frequency of the eternal, infinite presence of being. Live at the frequency of eternal, the eternal glory of God. To live at the frequency of the field of light. To live at the frequency of eternal peace. That we start to open to the frequencies and flows of our own nature and our own consciousness. We start to open to the frequencies that can deepen us, purify, recalibrate, and refine us. In a way, refining the nervous system so that the nervous system is not held tangled in captivity by the mind and fear and strategy. That the nervous system is a free flow of consciousness, open to itself and ever deepening in the remembrance of itself. It's like the absolute foundation of everything, the essence of everything is the knowing of the heart. And that this remembrance is not abstract. It's very real. It's here now. It's a direct experience. It's not something that is away from you. It's not something that is in the future, and it's not in the past of an experience. It's right here now. It's being here now, so fully in the presence of being, and opening to the field of presence, the field of silent presence. And in the recognition of the frequency of the field of silent presence, just noticing the relaxation and the sense of calm, the sense of openness, and the sense of knowing in the heart, a knowing that doesn't know something, a knowing that knows itself, a knowing that knows itself here now, just simply being. That's before all questions, before all concepts, before all ideas and beliefs. There's just this. And in the simplicity of this, the power of this, there's a knowing of yourself, which is unquestionable, undoubtable. It's not a new persona. It's deeper, more profound, and more subtle. It's just a feeling of being here and a felt sense of a peace that is undisturbable. It's a deep relaxation into yourself, into the essence nature, into the wide open field of being. Just like making a good pot of tea, you just infuse here. You infuse here. And you let the steeping bring a deepening. A deepening of the relaxation, deepening of the knowing, and just an effortlessness where there's nothing to do, nothing to understand. And yet in this field, there's like access to more of yourself, access to more light, access to more insight, access to illuminate and free things that could feel tangled or discordant. Just a simple, relaxed ability to shine upon whatever feels to be quirky and discordant, and not be attempting to change, fix, or problem solve anything, but just to be so present with all that you are, to hold yourself here in such a field of love and presence, that all that you are is welcome here. All that you are is illuminated here. And all that you are is utterly blessed here. Blessed by the love that can bless. And you start to realize that you are the love that can bless. You are the light that can illuminate. That it's in the internal functioning that the magic starts to happen. In the presence of now, we are free of past and future and just open to the field of the eternal glory. And just resting here and being yourself. That nothing needs to happen. You already know. You already are. You're accessing a frequency of remembrance. You're accessing the wide open field, and it's like an attunement, a subtle attunement to the fine frequency field that is openness and simplicity. It is still and silent. It is the most glorious presence, and it is the glorious presence of yourself, just simply being here. And so great glory, we just steep here, soak here, be immersed here. Let the infusion happen. Be warmed and nourished by the knowing of your own heart. It is just to notice that the deepening and the softening, the tenderizing and simplifying just starts to happen all by itself. That there truly is nothing to do here. It's to receive yourself in such openness, an open receptivity where you can see yourself, face yourself, be with yourself, meet yourself, love yourself, shine as yourself, and radiate the resonance of love. Radiate the radiance of light. And just start to feel the fine frequencies of the field, the glory of the eternal God frequency, the glory of the eternal divinity, the infinite boundless field, the glory of yourself radiantly shining, just being here, just being here. The silence is so compelling. It's the stop of all ideas of doing, of needing to change or fix or solve. Just being here in the silent stop, reveling, cherishing the glory of this moment. And in a way, this revelation of the heart, this knowing, it's about living here, resting here, and knowing that if discordance comes in the play of life, which it does, it's part of life, right? That when we're looking for an answer, when we're trying to make a decision, when we want to feel better, just drop in here to the wide open field. Not to get away from anything or to get away from yourself, but to drop into the field of reality so that you have a clear perspective of seeing, that you open to be the light that can illuminate. You open to be able then to illuminate whatever seems to be troubling, whatever seems to be wrong. You open to be able to illuminate that in truth there's nothing wrong, and it's just about blessing and welcoming, embracing and integrating something that is not yet illumined. It's like revealing the love that is hiding in everything. That in a way the life lived in this truth is a life of surrender, and the life of surrender is about surrendering all of the places that feel stuck and discordant and hard and challenging, surrendering everything into this presence of love within your inner functioning, right? So it's never about the external or being given anything or doing anything. It's about functioning on full power, functioning at full frequency, functioning at full pure consciousness, where you have the capacity to be with yourself, hold yourself, meet yourself, no matter what is happening on the surface of life, that you know that it's all a play. The characters on the stage of your life are playing out exactly what you are wanting and needing to be played out, in order that you may receive a clear reflection of what you cannot see right now, so that you can feel the things that are hidden and stuck under the surface in the unconscious. And so the whole play of life is this perfect grace. And when we come to know reality, we know, well, the whole play of life is perfect grace. I can never be wrong. I can never be in the wrong place. Nothing wrong can ever be happening. And so if I can see it from here, I can internally be in the flow of grace and illumination and blessing and welcoming that allows there to be a conscious integration of every single fiber and thread of my being in perfect timing to realign every fiber that is ready to be released and recalibrated into the big woven tapestry of the unified field, can weave all the fibers that seem to be disparate into the unified field of resonant remembrance. So how glorious that we realize that we have the power, that we have the power, that we are far from disempowered beings that we imagine ourselves to be when we are imagining that we are in separation and that we've done something wrong, that we are bad or deficient or lacking. Far from that, we are incredibly powerful and potent beings. And it's to discover this within our own functioning, not as a belief or a concept, but directly to discover and remember how powerful we are. To realize that there's nothing ever wrong, and the misunderstanding that we're divided from God and the glory is innocent. It's absolute innocence. And that we're returning to innocence. We're returning to purity, to divinity, to simplicity. And it's a multidimensional return, that we're being multidimensionally purified, refined, and reorganized, so that where we are bound perhaps by either the physical, the mental, or emotional, or most likely a combination, a tangle of these bodies, that the finer frequencies of light, of bliss light, of love, are illuminating and nourishing and bringing the deep remembrance at the very center of the holding patterns. The light is being activated, initiated, and brought forward. The light is being activated to remember itself. Let's say in every cell, every atom, every thread, every fiber of what we are multidimensionally, both in the denser bodies of the mental, physical, and emotional, and also in the subtle body, the light body, and the whole apparatus of the etheric body that allows us to be able to subtly remember and resonate at the frequencies of more refined consciousness where we actually remember. And that it's not a doing, It's all happening here now. And that's the great glory, is that as we speak of it here, the speaking itself is bringing forward, enlivening exactly what is happening here. And so what is happening here as we are speaking is that we are illuminating as we sink deeper in and are infused in the light and the fine frequencies. It's as if the field of our gathering, the field of our joining, starts to resonate at a finer frequency. And as we are steeping and soaking in these finer frequencies and relaxing, the light goes to work. The light starts to move around, reorganizing, recalibrating, shifting. The consciousness itself is this light that is intelligence that is flowing within itself. It knows what is needed. It knows what is ready to refine. And so the light is flowing around intelligently, bringing forward what is ready to come forward, illuminating and just clearing what is ready to be illuminated and cleared. This is not a process of doing. This is not about mental ideas of processing. It's about opening, and in a way, your inner yes to the glory says, I am yours. Do with me what you will. Make me your finest instrument that I have the capacity for. Take away what no longer serves. Bring forward and let me see what I cannot yet see. I am ready. I am yours. Recalibrate this life so that I can be open and aligned with the laws of nature in the most profound and natural way, that I can live the uniqueness in service to the whole, that I know that I am not divided from you. And when I am not divided from you, I am being resourced from the divine wellspring. And I am ever eternally nourished here. That there's nothing that I need to know or understand, that I have access to the whole field of intelligence, and anything and everything that I need is right here. That any area that I feel there to be discord or trouble or problem, I can just open this area right now. Yes, right now, this moment, I open this area to the glory of God. I let God in. I let forgiveness in. I let a realignment in. I let go of feeling like I am alone and having to do this all by myself. I let go and I let God. I let the light shine upon whatever feels to be discordant. And I let the illumination and the power of intelligence work its magic in the field of my being, that I do not need to know or understand, and that my inner yes says, great glory, do with me what you will, that all I long for is you. All I long for is to be lived fully by you, to live this light, this life, this vitality, this love, and to be the truest version of myself that I can be. I am ready. I am yours. Show me, reveal the love that I am in every fiber of my being. And so in this field, the light is moving to recalibrate, reorganize, and reorchestrate. It's moving to purify and refine and reveal that this is not a hard process. It's an open process. It's a willingness to let the forgiveness in. And when we speak of forgiveness, we're speaking of the immediacy of presence, where we realize that what the forgiveness is that There is no taint, no stain. There is nothing to be forgiven. There is no discord. There's nothing out of place. That we can receive the frequency of our divinity, of our perfection. That we realize right now, this moment, clean slate, total presence, no past, no imagined future that is being created in a karmic system out of the belief in past and the fear frequencies that can resound in the mind, that can hold us captive. So there's this total openness, and the receptive openness that receives the forgiveness is receiving God's forgiveness, receiving the glory, and just entering the silence, the stillness, the stop, the perfect moment. And the perfect moment isn't necessarily what the mind wants to see as perfection, but it's the openness to receive the perfection of God, and that you are an image of that glorious divinity. You are not a watered down version. You are made in the image. You are shining in the image. And that this is about receiving the divine reflection and remembering the light, the Christ light shining that is the heart. And knowing that in the resonance of the heart's remembrance, this is the way. The way is to open deeper into yourself, into the glorious fullness of yourself. Without knowing how, without knowing what it means, there's something deeper that remembers. And there's something deeper that is so extraordinarily beautiful. It's the revelation of the heart's knowing. It's the revelation of the heart's glory. It's the revelation of the heart being the heart of God, the heart of light, and that you are one here with all that is divine. That what God is what you are. What God is what freedom is. And there's an opening here where the knowing of the heart remembers and resonates at this frequency, opens to itself, and remembers that there has never been limitation or a leaving. There has never been a lack or a compromise. There's never been a bad or a wrong. There's only ever been this perfect moment, ever whole. And in the power of your remembrance, it's a return to wholeness, a return to the frequency of the whole, perfect, spotless love that is the glory of God. And where the recognition is alive, this is where the nourishment is. This is where the nourishment is. And so we stop here. And we let God. We let the light. And there's just an internal yes. Can start to feel the finer and finer frequencies, realigning and dancing through the sense of the physical, realigning and dancing through the sense of the mental and the emotional. That we're not getting away from anything, we're actually including everything in such an integral, profound way, so that we are blessing with light, blessing with love, all that feels to be in the shadow, or intention, or holding, or protection, or fear, or doubt, confusion or lack. We're blessing anything in the field that we can see or feel. And we start to realize more and more these subtle possibilities of releasing these holdings and illuminating and allowing, just through simple alignment with the holy yes of the heart, that the glory takes care of it. The glory recalibrates, that there's no doing involved, that true healing is a revelation, not a process. True healing is the revelation in the heart of that which has never been divided, that which has never been broken. It's the revelation of reality, the revelation of love, ever loving, ever present. It's the revelation of the heart's constant, eternal knowing. And so just resting here and allowing the silence to have you, so that you can soak and remember that you are the silence. You are the silent presence. You are the stillness. You are undivided. That your true nature is silence, is deep, silent peace. That your true nature is light, eternal and free. That your true essence nature is love without condition, spotless, perfect and whole. That your true essence nature is so utterly free. Free to be yourself. Free to be the aliveness of life living itself. And so we open to the big picture, to the celebration of the revelation of the heart. And so that the heart can feel the frequency of revelation and the frequency of celebration. Great glory, great glory. Alleluia. It is so. It is so. It is so. It's not in the future. It's not out of reach. It's not because you are undeserving or unworthy. It is right here and in the still, silent presence of this moment, just to drop into the glorious knowing, the glorious knowing. To feel the relaxation, the softening, to feel the deep exhalation and the sense of illumination and revealing, and resting here, resting here. Great glory, thank you, thank you, thank you. Great glory, carry me into you, carry me deeper. Bring the light of this knowing to be so clear that I cannot doubt it anymore, that I recognize your presence whole and true and full, that I remember that you have always been here and that I am one with you. Let me remember this radiant light shining in and as this heart, and that this heart is infinite and unbounded. And in that boundlessness, there is an eternal, silent knowing of this one field, this one source. Great glory, I am one with you. The knowing of that is in my heart. Great glory, let me release and let go of what no longer serves, what keeps me small, what keeps me bound, what keeps me in the misunderstanding. I say yes, take it all. Take away the discordance, take away the misunderstanding, take away the blindness. Everything that is ready to be released, I hand over. I let go of my commitment to stay bound for whatever reasons that I might have made commitments to stay bound. I release all of the threads into your illumined presence. Whatever I am seeing now, I know that I am the light that can illuminate. And when the light is illuminating, there is a releasing of discordance in the patterning and a return to the original innocence, divinity. Mm. Great glory, let me come alive as life itself, jubilant and joyful, free to be myself, free to shine the radiant light of this heart's knowing, free to blossom in the uniqueness and to be resourced from source. Mm. Let me remember in every moment that I am here to shine the light of the revelation of this heart, and to ever deepen into this revelation that reality is here, that nothing is hiding, and it's just about the clear seeing. Mm. Resting here in the glory that is. Mm. Receiving the flows of light intelligence. Receiving the flows of light intelligence, recalibrating and clearing, restoring the patterns of innocence and the remembrance of purity. This heart of light is shining. The heart of light is the heart of all that is radiantly shining as the glory. Eternal luminosity, brilliance, and brightness. just resting here, soaking, immersed, infusing. Letting the revelation dawn and spread and flow. Opening to the unfathomable depths of your innermost being, where the innermost being knows itself just in the simplicity of being. The knowing is of the being, the simplicity of being yourself and just being. The revelation is in the innermost being itself. The frequency of the knowing is the flow that flows as light, as bliss, as intelligence. And naturally, just starting to resonate at the finer frequency starts to bring the flows of intelligence to reorganize and repattern the whole frequency field, seeking out discordance and reorganizing and realigning. And if your attention particularly goes to something that feels to be discordant, it directs and focuses with precision the light to be able to reorchestrate and recalibrate whatever the discordance you are focused upon, not as a way of getting away from it or making it better to solve a problem, but to just open it, give it to the glory, put it in the light, and let the intelligence take care of it. Bring the blessing to these places that maybe feel discordant, or feel confused, or feel uncertain, feel like they need to make a decision or try to understand better. And instead of moving into the mental realms that are limited, just open into the unlimited field of the glory and allow the intelligence to illuminate, reorganize, and bring insight. Show me what I cannot see. Reveal the love that is here. I'm willing for change to happen in order to live more deeply in more recognizable frequency of reality, more aligned with the laws of nature, more aligned with the truth of this heart in the deepest, most possible way. Ways that my mind cannot understand. Let the intelligence bring in the insights and the clear seeing, the clear vision. And there's a readiness and an openness. And yet there's also a knowing that everything comes in divine timing. that the dots are joining and the constellation of the life trajectory is unfolding right here now in perfect presence. That there's nothing to do, and just being here and living this frequency joyfully, open-heartedly, radiantly, fully engaged in the dance of life, knowing that the whole of life is a field of grace, that everything is happening to bring a deeper sense of illuminated freedom. Everything is happening to return me to the fine frequency of innocence and playfulness and joyful, exuberant wildness. That all of the ideas that I've had that this needs to be hard can be released and let go of. And so resting here, resting here. An invitation to turn your face to the sun, turn your whole being to the sun, and be warmed and brightened and receive the reflection of your own divine radiance. Kingdom of heaven is in your very own heart. Receiving the grace of your own heart's knowing. Reality is in your very own heart. It's entering through your innermost knowing and opening to the field at a seeing, feeling frequency of wholeness, of openness. That it's right here now, this field of presence, revealing the love that you are, revealing the love that is. where nothing needs to happen. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just the absolute glory of just being here, resting in the deep, fine frequency of your own heart field, the one wide open field that is the glory. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to be, just to be here as the being itself, boundless and free. And yet at the same time, you can feel the coordinates of the point. And feel the boundless expansiveness. And you can feel the coordinates of the point. You can feel your hands and feet. And feel your spine. The field of light is everywhere. And it taking up residence in the heart, in the body, in the mind, in the emotional body. That the light is moving in and rooting itself, revealing itself, every single cell and fiber of your being, activating the deep dormant codes, the light codes that have been dormant, activating and bringing the fullness of your consciousness to life. Bringing a refining, rejuvenating remembrance on the level of the physical. Bringing a refining, restorative remembrance on the level of the mental and emotional. Bringing an illuminated, recalibrative remembrance on the level of the subtle light body, so that the consciousness itself is coming alive in the fullness of its own purity, as a field of intelligence, as a field of light that is innately and essentially bliss. And it's this invitation to just drink in the nectarine bliss of your own radiant openness and resonant remembrance. Mm. And so just resting here, drinking in the stillness, drinking in the silence, drinking in the nectarine bliss of the heart's remembrance. Just remembering a deeper quality of yourself, a more free, exuberant remembrance of yourself, the naturalness of yourself, unprotected and undefined. And so just resting here, just resting here.